When Ethan turned 35, he woke one morning with a strange, hollow feeling in his chest, as though something inside him had quietly walked away in the night. His life looked perfect on paper: a good job, a comfortable apartment, friends who laughed at his jokes, and a partner who said she loved him. But when he looked in the mirror, he saw eyes that didn't quite belong to him. They looked tired, artificial, borrowed. That morning, he sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the sunlight spilling across the floorboards, and whispered a question he'd never dared to ask before: who am I, really? It was a small question, but it cracked open something vast inside him. Later that week, after another numbing day at work, Ethan wandered into a small, dust-filled bookstore tucked behind an old cafe. The smell of old paper hit him like nostalgia for a time he'd never lived. There, on a shelf labeled Philosophy and Mind, a thin paperback caught his eye. The cover read, Carl Jung, The Secret to the Self. He opened it randomly and read a single sentence. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. He froze. The words pierced something deep. He didn't fully understand them, but they felt true, painfully true. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept hearing that sentence echo in his head, like a whisper from somewhere deep within. The next morning, Ethan called in sick to work. Instead of emails and deadlines, he sat at his kitchen table, staring at a blank page in his notebook. He decided he was going to find out who he was, no matter how long it took. But finding the self, he soon learned, wasn't about adding new layers, it was about peeling them away. At first, Ethan tried to be logical about it. He listed everything that defined him: his career, his relationships, his hobbies, his habits, even his fears. Then he began crossing things out, everything that didn't feel authentic. It was terrifying how much he erased. Titles, roles, opinions he'd adopted just to belong. Days passed. Then weeks. And as he stripped away the layers, his life started to feel unstable, like a house whose walls were being torn down one by one. His partner grew distant. His friends didn't understand what he was doing. "You're not yourself lately," they said. He smiled bitterly. That's the point, he thought. In solitude, his mind became louder. Jung wrote about the shadow, the hidden part of ourselves we spend our lives ignoring. Ethan decided to meet his. He began to write letters to it, as if it were another person living inside him. At first, the shadow's voice was angry, accusing. It reminded him of everything he'd buried: his envy, his shame, the small cruelties he'd justified to feel superior. But then it began to soften. The more Ethan listened, the more he realized his shadow wasn't evil. It was just honest. It held the pieces of him that had been rejected, the parts that longed to be seen. One night, after hours of restless thought, he dreamed he was standing before a vast mirror that reached from floor to ceiling. But when he looked into it, the reflection wasn't quite his own. The figure smiled differently. Its eyes glimmered with a kind of knowing. And then, in the dream, the reflection whispered, "Stop trying to find yourself. You've never been lost. You just stopped listening." He woke up in tears. Something shifted in him after that. He began to notice subtle things: how much of his daily behavior was performance, how often he spoke just to avoid silence, how he smiled to make others comfortable while his own emotions sat unacknowledged. Ethan stopped trying to be agreeable. He began saying no when he meant no. He spent more time alone, not out of bitterness but curiosity. In those long hours of silence, he discovered a strange comfort, a feeling of being at home inside his own thoughts. But with awareness came pain. He realized how much of his life had been driven by fear of rejection, of failure, of disappointing others. He had built a version of himself that was acceptable, but not alive. One evening, as rain tapped gently against his window, Ethan sat with the Jung book open beside him. He read about individuation, the process of becoming whole. Jung said it wasn't about perfection, but about integration. Light and dark, joy and sorrow, logic and instinct, all parts of the same self. Ethan realized that his true self wasn't something pure waiting to be uncovered. It was something complete waiting to be accepted. The climax came unexpectedly during a conversation with his father. They hadn't spoken deeply in years. His father, a stern man shaped by his own disappointments, had always taught Ethan to hide emotion, to stay strong. That night, something in Ethan refused to play that role anymore. When his father began criticizing his choices, his career, his breakup, his so-called soul-searching, Ethan felt the familiar urge to shrink. But this time, he stayed still. "Dad," he said quietly, "I've spent most of my life trying to be someone you'd be proud of. But I don't even know who that person is anymore." His father fell silent. The air between them was thick. Then, in a rare moment of vulnerability, the old man sighed. "I did the same thing," he admitted. "And I never stopped." They sat there, two men, both realizing that sometimes the inheritance passed from father to son isn't wisdom, but wounds. That night, Ethan didn't feel angry or broken. He felt something far stranger, compassion. For his father. For his shadow. For every version of himself that had tried so hard to be enough. Weeks later, he returned to that bookstore. The same old man was behind the counter, polishing his glasses. Ethan smiled and placed the young book back on the shelf. "I think I finally understand it," he said. The man raised an eyebrow. "Understand what?" "That finding your true self isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be." The man nodded slowly, as if he'd been waiting to hear those words. Outside, the air smelled like rain and renewal. Ethan walked down the street, feeling lighter than he had in years. For the first time, he wasn't searching for himself, he was with himself. And that, he realized, was the quiet miracle Jung had been pointing to all along. Psych Truth Zone Reflection. In the end, the journey to your true self isn't found in books, success, or validation. It begins when you stop running from the parts of yourself you fear the most. The shadow, the wounds, the insecurities, they're not enemies. They're invitations. Each one leads you closer to the truth of who you are beneath the noise. Because the secret isn't about finding your true self. It's about finally being brave enough to meet it.